The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. It's your midweek fix for racing news and information. Brought to you by the Championship Racing Network. Now let's head trackside to join your hosts, Steve West and Matt Nicholson.
Welcome into the latest edition of Crossed Flags. I appreciate you joining us. I'm Steve West. There is Matt Nicholson, and behind the scenes, producer John and producer Molly. Appreciate all of their efforts on CRN Live and Jock's YouTube TV. We certainly appreciate them. Plenty to get to here on a NASCAR heavy podcast here. We'll be talking about silly season in the Craftsman Truck Series, but first things first. I want to talk about the first weekend of NBC Sports dealing with NASCAR. And overall, it's not the worst thing in the world. Matt, you and I, we've had our complaints about it over the course of time, and just the basic coverage and, some little details here or there. And we're going to be talking about one of the biggest, probably, to put it on the edge, BS complaints that we've been hearing now since last year. That's coming up. But first things first, in looking at what I can find on the contract between NBC Sports and NASCAR, somehow NASCAR skipped out on the streaming side of it?
Apparently
let me explain what we're talking about here. NBC Sports is, you think about it, what we've had so far this year. We've had Fox, and of course they've got their site, Fox Sports. So you can go on there if you subscribe to it and you can get it. Then we go to Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is just something that my wife and I have subscribed to for quite a while. No problems there. Then we go to TNT. Well, I find out TNT is available by going onto the Max system. Okay, great. So I'm good there. So I've missed the first 14 races because kind of overloaded really on streaming services, and I wasn't going to pay for another one on Fox Sports. And I'm thinking, hey, we're getting into NBC now. I've got the Peacock streaming service, so I should be good to go, right? No. Somehow, when they signed the streaming, or they signed the TV deals, and they came to NBC, and they worked out the contract with NBC, they skipped over the part where they could put NASCAR on Peacock. What?
Yeah, and they're missing the boat there.
What? Now, Peacock was one of the main, probably, cruxes of a disagreement between Indycar and NBC, and that's why Indycar flipped and said goodbye to NBC and went to Fox this year. Because they not only put 2 races on the Peacock, they put all the races on the Peacock network, but 2 of them in the 2024 season were solely on Peacock. And IndyCar felt like that was kind of against their TV deal. So I understand that. But at this point in time, when we're really seeing streaming take over everything, isn't that kind of short-sighted on the part of NBC and NASCAR? And I don't care which side it was that decided not to put Peacock in it. But isn't it kind of short-sighted on either one or both of their parts to go, you know what, maybe we should have included a streaming side on this?
I would say it would be extremely short-sighted because of a lot of individuals and families that are going to a streaming option. I guess you could word it that way. It's very short-sighted because it seems to me that there are a lot of non-focus on certain points that need to be focused on.
I would agree with that. And I went and I looked it up. And of course, you can go on to the USA app and, download it onto your smart TV and all that kind of stuff. But USA has the same problem that ESPN's got when it comes to streaming certain things like live sports. And that is, you have to have a TV provider to be able to sign in to get the streaming.
Sure.
Well, what if you're one of the many people like myself and my wife who have decided to cut the cable, cut the satellite, and not have a quote-unquote TV service provider? We have no option on getting USA, period. None of this is making any sense to me in any way, shape, or form. And I would really like an explanation from the fine folks over at NASCAR and or NBC, because I think they owe it to the people.
They do, because with so many different options and so many different choices that are out there now, if you have if you got your series or respective sport within a certain network, it should be available to be seen across the entire platform networks.
Yeah,
If that's a fair way to say it.
I'll go back and I'll use Formula One as an example, and I'll go back to ESPN Plus. Again, I've got ESPN Plus as part of that kind of Disney, Hulu, ESPN Plus triumvirate package. But yet, when I try to watch the Formula One race on ESPN through ESPN Plus, which I'm paying for, it does the same thing that I just mentioned on USA, which says I need to have a TV service provider, which again, cut it. Why, if I'm paying you that much money per month, per year, am I suddenly being forced to go and have to take an extra step that I got a smart TV specifically to be able to avoid?
Right. I don't know, because this television and broadcasting package is so, what's the right word for me to say here?
Jacked up?
Scattered.
Okay,
Let's call it that.
Okay.
It's so scattered that nobody knows what they can see where.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
That's
agree
a fair
with
way
that.
to say it.
It is. That is a fair way to say it. And when you think about the fact that what they have done for NASCAR is they've started to include the streaming service of Amazon Prime, at least we now understand that they start to see this is the beginnings of a pretty good trend. We're starting to see many people, and don't get me wrong, it's not like cable's dead, or it's not like satellite TV is dead. They're still around, but the number of people that are subscribed to cable and or satellite continues to dwindle year by year, because we, the viewer, have decided that the best way to get I guess a la carte programming might be the best way to put it, is to be able to go and subscribe to whatever streaming service or services we want to, and whatever we feel like is not all that important in the grand scheme of things, we just say, you know what, we're not going to subscribe to that. But you're going to pick and choose what it is you're going to put on your streaming service. It does seem like it's very, very short-sighted on your part, number one. Number two, it suddenly seems like NBC and USA, which have been joined at the hip for many, many a year now, suddenly they've decided to try and separate the two of them out. And I don't understand the reasoning for that. So it's just this is such a mishmash of things here. And this is one of the reasons why NASCAR is going to have a problem, because we've been talking about it here, in the fact that it looks like ESPN is going to be out of the Formula One broadcast business here beginning next season, because there is a deal on the table, if all reports are to be believed, that Amazon Prime has blown everybody out of the water with their bid, and Netflix and Apple Plus and all those others, and ESPN and ABC, NBC, CBS, all those guys. It's just too much, too rich for them. Which, okay, if that's the case, that's the way that it is. Which means we'll get all of the races, kind of like that 5-race deal that we got on Amazon Prime, which for me, I'm okay with. I've got access to it. That means I'll be able to watch it even easier than what I've been watching, the F1 races that I've been able to see, which have been spotty all year. But it does appear like Formula One is beginning to understand that in order to have our popularity increase, we don't necessarily have to have a cable TV partner. Sure. As long as we've got ourselves a good, solid broadcast partner that reaches a good number of people. And you and I talked about it when it happened. Of the 14 races that Fox Sports showed, the 4 that were on network TV did rank higher, averaged about 3 million viewers or so. But when it showed over on Fox Sports 1, they were still getting 2 to 2.5 million. And then it goes to Amazon Prime, and guess what they were averaging? 2 to 2.5 million. They really didn't lose a whole lot by not having a cable TV partner in that case. And that is exactly what you're going to find on Amazon Prime. In fact, their viewership might actually increase because now you've got so many kids who are roaming around with one of these or a tablet or laptop or whatever and going out and doing stuff on Saturday nights, Sunday mornings, whatever it is. And they have access to be able to, like I will next year, apparently, watch it on Amazon Prime at any point in time that I feel like, and not have to worry about it. But like you said, NASCAR's deal over on Peacock and NBC is so spotty, and you're not sure where you can and can't get it until you actually go and try and find it.
Exactly. And it's just they're trying to space out. They're trying to space out too little across too much.
And they're not thinking about the full story either.
No,
They're not taking
because
everything they need to into account.
no, because they're trying to focus on things that are not broken, and they're breaking the things that are not broken, and it's causing utter chaos.
Yeah,
and things are going just like that.
Yep. It's not the fastest drop. It's not like you've taken the airplane and shoved the stick all the way forward and you're in a nosedive. But yeah, we're watching this thing decline just like that.
It's unfortunate, but it's the truth.
Somebody over there is too short-sighted, and they screwed up on this situation, and they screwed up badly. But here, to you and me, though, the next thing that we want to talk about, we don't think that they necessarily screwed up, and that's their broadcast booth, and specifically their lead announcer. Their lead announcer's name is Lee Diffie, and you had, for the longest time, going back to when NBC Sports had both IndyCar and NASCAR, you had been doing a hashtag called Diffie because you really wanted to hear it. Well, it came true last year. They decided they were going to make the change when they realized they were going to lose IndyCar to Fox. They decided to make the change because they wanted to keep Lee Diffie as an announcer, and he's a very, very good announcer.
He is a from the overall grand scheme of things, he is a world-class, top-level sports broadcaster.
Agreed.
Because he's went across multiple disciplines of sports, not just motorsports.
And I'll state this right up front, and because I've experienced this in my 40 years of being in the broadcasting business. I'm human. I make mistakes. Lee Diffie's human. He'll make mistakes. Mike Joy's human. He'll make mistakes. Adam Alexander's human. He'll make mistakes. Jamie Little. Enough said there. Nobody's perfect. But we are complaining online. I've seen them. You've probably seen them much more than even I have because you've been involved in things like X for a lot longer than I have. But you and I have a lot of the same connections on social media like X, and people are complaining because of Lee Diffie's accent.
It's borderline. Well, it is ridiculous.
Oh, it's flat out stupid.
It's borderline being nuclear ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have former broadcasters and pit road reporters of the likes of John Kernan, ring a bell, kids? He's making comments about if I want to hear a foreign accent, I'll go watch F1. I guess I'm xenophobic. We got a problem.
Yeah, we do.
When we have broadcasters complaining about it, when you have somebody that is top notch and top caliber as Lee Diffie is across not just the discipline of motorsports, but across every discipline, it's gone a little bit too far.
Yes.
Because I will say this. I will say this right now. If I'm putting if I'm putting Lee Diffie, Adam Alexander, Rick Allen, I'll even put I'll put Mike Joy in there.
Okay.
Let's go with Vince Welch.
Okay.
Let's go with let's go with Alan Bestwick. Let's go with those 6 right there.
All right.
Top 2, and by absolute no stretch of the word of disrespect at all, because he's earned his stripes, he's earned his feathers in his cap. Yes, he's getting later in his years, and when someone gets later in their years, no matter what, there's going to be a gradual fall off.
Yes.
Not going to be drastic, but it'll be gradual. I'm right off of the bat. I would rank Lee Diffie and Alan Bestwick 1-2.
Okay.
Straight up.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. And here's the thing. For me personally, I might put Mike Joy up there. It goes back to what you were talking about, though. As you get older, you kind of get to the point where you start to see little things. We saw it in Vern Lundquist. Okay. Vern Lundquist spent, oh gosh, half a century, if not more, in the broadcasting business. And was he the same in his last couple of years as he was in his first couple? No. But his half century plus in broadcasting deserved a lot better than what we heard from a lot of people who wouldn't be able to do a dang thing once they got on one of these things right here as Vern Lundquist. Because I have seen so many people, and producer John could back this up, and truth be told, you could too, because the first time you sat in front of a microphone, did or did it not, even if you didn't freeze, did or did it not intimidate you just a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. It was intimidating, because it was not as much intimidating when I sat in front of a radio microphone versus the first time I had a headset on at Talladega Superspeedway.
Sure.
Because when I'm looking out and I'm throwing my voice out to 170,000 people in front of me, which happened to be the last and final race that Dale Earnhardt Jr. ever competed at Talladega.
True.
You're going like, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up.
Yeah. Well, and me, and again, I've said this, I'm going on 40 years here in 2027. So I'm 2 years away from going on 40 years in this business. And the first year that I went out to Talladega, I was a fill-in on a Sunday in 2005. And I was a little intimidated because of what you had just said. Now, granted, this is 20 years ago, but I'm still 20 years into a career where I talk on a microphone for a living. But talking on a microphone inside of a room with maybe 1 or 2 other people in the room versus suddenly you're talking on a microphone where the room, as you mentioned, is 175,000 people who know exactly where you are and can turn around and look at you through the window at a moment's notice. There is an intimidation factor there.
Oh, yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it is.
But one of my former bosses, I just happened to be in the building. I was the overnight DJ at a station in Winchester, Virginia in 2005 or 1995. I'm sorry. And I happened to be in the building doing something during the day and passed by my program director's office, and he's in there with his music director, and they're listening to a tape, and he stops me and he goes, "Steve, tell me what you think about this tape." So I stopped, he rewound it, and I stopped and listened. Music director, Kelly, goes, "That music's not our music." I think it was country, and we were a light rock station. Whatever it was, the music wasn't the same. "He's a country DJ." And I said, "You're listening to the wrong thing." And Pat stopped the tape. He was the program director. He stopped the tape and he looked at me, and he was waiting for me to finish the sentence because he wanted to see what I was going to say next. And I looked at her after glancing at him. I looked at her and I said, "You're listening to the wrong thing. If you listen to my tape, it was country too." And she looked at me and went, "It was?" I said, "Yes, it was. My audition tape was a country tape, number one. Number two, what you're really listening for is the voice. And do you think that voice fits on your station?" Now, here's the side of it that's going to change when it comes to Lee Diffie. We're listening to the accent. when it comes to Lee Diffie.
Too much.
Why aren't we listening to the content that Lee Diffie brings to the table? Don't listen to the accent. Listen to what it is he has to say. And then, if you feel like he deserves to be critiqued, by all means. But I have yet to hear any commentary from Lee Diffie in his time in either IndyCar or his time in NASCAR. I watched a lot of it last year, obviously not last weekend, to know that Lee Diffie is a very capable announcer who knows motorsports. And for him to just drift over and take over NASCAR and do it almost seamlessly, that's the part that we should be concentrating on, not his accent.
Fully agree. And then when, somebody of his caliber that, he does his homework like he does it, and he is thorough with what he's talking about. Like, he doesn't just say, oh, so-and-so in this vehicle or so-and-so with that. You got Kyle Busch and that Cheddar Chevrolet for RCR, or however you want to do the announcement. My voice is still not great. It's getting better, but it's still not great.
Yeah.
But somebody that goes into detail like he does versus Adam Alexander, driver 9 or driver 48 or whatever, however, his coin phrase, driver, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I will take somebody like Diffie all day long and then some versus somebody that's just monotone. Let's call it that, monotone.
Absolutely.
He's detailed, he's thorough, and he paints the picture like it needs to be painted.
Yes.
Let's call
and he also knows when to let the picture speak for itself.
Exactly.
And that is something that is not necessarily an easily learned thing. I'll state that right up front.
Granted, from a how do I word this? From a intense finish standpoint, Daytona's NBC race eclipsed Talladega's NBC race.
Okay.
Think about what I'm saying here. Because the finish at Daytona was a little bit more intense coming to the line than Talladega was last fall.
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're going with this.
All right. To which the intensity of the finish is naturally going to dictate how whoever's calling that race is going to call said finish. If it's just a blah, bland finish, you're going to get a blah, bland call. If it's an intense finish like Daytona was, you're going to get that. And I will pivot and say this right here. I would have loved to have heard him in the booth in 2011 when there were 88 lead changes at Talladega in the tandem days, and they came to the line 4 wide, 2 rows deep.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I would have loved to have heard that call.
Yeah.
Mike Joy's call was good. It was very good. But I would have loved to have heard the enthusiasm and energy that he brings to calls that are intense. I would have loved to have heard that on that specific race.
Yeah, it would have been fascinating because, here's the thing. Like you said, Mike Joy did a very, very good job of it. But it would have been fascinating to hear some of the other voices that we know so well that have done NASCAR and maybe done some other sports. Sure. To hear them call it, because obviously you're going to have some very different situations and personalities, and their personalities are going to show. Pardon me, I have to plug in my computer, so I'm grabbing for the cord.
Put him on the call of the 2001 Pepsi 400.
Sure.
Alan Bestwick's last lap call was outstanding. But
yeah, agreed. But again, you're talking about different people with different styles. It doesn't mean that one's better than another or that much specifically worse. I mean, you and I have said we're going to put Mike Joy on this level with Lee Diffie just above him and Alan Bestwick right there. And it really is a shame that nobody's got Alan Bestwick doing stuff like this right now.
And at the end of the day, the people that are online and on X specifically need to shut up.
They're keyboard
and
warriors.
Appreciate what you have.
Yeah, they're keyboard warriors who have the bravery of being anonymous. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have a camera.
Right.
Put a camera on them, they're not going to state it. Because they certainly wouldn't say this to Lee Diffie's face. And if they would, they'd probably find themselves punched in the nose.
Probably.
And deservedly so. You know, it is a coward move to sit there and BMC, bitch, moan, and complain online and then turn around and not be willing to do it to that person's face. It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't.
Nope.
So everybody, you're listening to the wrong thing. You're listening to the accent. Listen to what it is he has to say. He's bringing the content. He's bringing it well. Leave the man alone.
Appreciate what you're listening to that is being brought to you from a world-class level.
Exactly. And that brings us to the next thing. And we started talking about silly season last weekend on the big show, and we'll talk about it a little bit more because we're going to start hearing about more and more drivers that are moving from this team to another team, or maybe even jumping up series. But in this case, it looks like in the Craftsman Truck Series, one Caden Honeycutt is going to remain in the Truck Series in 2026. It's just not going to be with Nice Motorsports. Caden Honeycutt put out a very, very professional statement, which we're going to show you right here, courtesy of producer John, that stated he thanked very much Nice Motorsports for, putting him in the car, giving him, or truck, I should say, number 45 Chevrolet Silverado, and giving him the opportunity that he has gotten so far this year. And I'm not going to sit here and say he's been tearing up all the tracks that he's been on, but he also hasn't been the worst thing on the planet when it comes to being behind the wheel of a truck. But he was also on a one-year deal, apparently, or a deal that basically wrapped up this year. And he has a contract for next year. And that brings us to the next statement that we're going to be getting to here in a moment. And this is the statement that came from Nice Motorsports, which, if producer John can find that, we'll show that to you. Caden Honeycutt has signed a deal already for 2026 because he is looking to his own future. You as the driver will know exactly what we're talking about when it comes to this. But even I can state this in the broadcasting business. If I know my contract's running out and I've got an offer on the table that is better than the current contract that I have, I certainly need to look at it, if not go ahead and sign it. And if my current team, in this case, Nice Motorsports, doesn't appear to be going after me to keep me beyond this year, well, I'm going to go ahead and sign. They stated that they went ahead and booted him out of the 45 Chevrolet because he signed a deal with a team that drives another brand of truck. And because he has signed a deal with another brand of truck for that other team, which we don't know exactly who it is, we can speculate all we want.
I know who it is.
Oh, do you? Okay. They decided to go ahead and boot him out of the truck.
Which
is this a raw deal?
I don't agree with it. Cody Efall, and to each opinion is his own, but Cody Efall, Al Nice, and all of them, the managerial staff of Nice Motorsports, you got one of your vehicles that is going to lock itself into the playoffs on points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But because your pilot of your vehicle has already signed a deal for next year, it's with another OEM. I saw a statement Cody Efall put out today and saying it wasn't done out of malice. We're just going ahead and letting him go to where we can all build for next year. You just basically killed your shot at a championship.
Yeah, I guess you still, to a certain extent, have the opportunity when it comes to the truck and the owner's points, but it's not really.
And
you got to
look, and as good of a short track racer as he is, you have a legitimate shot at sneaking a win in and advancing rounds.
Sure. And now, and I don't mean any disrespect to this young driver, but Bailey Curry doesn't catch me as being on the same level as Caden Honeycutt.
You are, and it's no disrespect to Bailey because I don't flat out just blatantly disrespect anybody that straps a helmet and cinches a helmet down, because I've done that.
Mhm.
But from apples to oranges standpoint here, you're taking a backwards move. You're not taking a lateral move. You're taking a backwards move.
Yeah. This was a desperation move because you ejected the driver that got you to where you are right now, and you had to go with what's out there in basically the middle of a season.
Because
There's not that much out there.
Matt Mills is not getting you there.
No.
Matt Mills is not getting you there. Your third truck, which is your all-star truck, you can't count that one. So you're taking yourself out of getting a drivers and an owner's championship. That wasn't very smart.
No. I agree wholeheartedly.
I will say this in full, total, complete straightforwardness. Caden Honeycutt has bettered his situation and then some.
We'll talk about that in a moment. For Bailey Curry, best equipment he's been in his career?
Bailey Curry has been tied in with Nice for the last few years, so he's the 45 truck will be the best one he's been in. I mean, he's been in the 41 and 44 spaced out, which is basically the same thing, but from an overall jail team standpoint, 45 truck, yes.
All right, this is Bailey Curry's. This is his stage right here. You are now consistently in this 45 truck starting, is it this weekend?
No, next weekend. Connor Zillich is driving this week.
That's right. Okay, thank you. But he gets to finish the year out, the final handful of races, 8 races of the year. This is his best audition platform that he is probably ever going to get.
All I got to say is don't faceplant.
Yeah. I mean, no pressure, kid, but this is your chance. You've got a great truck underneath you. Get out there, prove it. And then that way you don't have to sit here and hunt and peck and get an occasional really good ride and then be bottom feeding for all your other rides. So I wish you the best, Bailey Curry. I really do. I have nothing personally against you. I've seen flashes of brilliance. Let's see if we can put it together behind the wheel of a really good truck, which we do admit Nice Motorsports number 45 is. As for Caden Honeycutt landed on his feet pretty good. He does get the opportunity to continue on his playoff run, because the thing about it is the playoff points, or the points that a driver accrues, doesn't attach itself to a truck.
It goes with them. It
goes with the driver. So he put out a statement today, Tuesday, as we air live, August the 5th. And we're going to show that one to you as well. I know, we just keep throwing stuff at you, right? He has a ride this weekend in the O2. This is, that would be the Young's Motorsports truck, if I remember right?
Right. Correct.
Okay. So he gets the Young's Motorsports O2 ride at Watkins Glen, and then Stuart and Jessica Friesen, Hallmark Friesen Racing, said, you know what? We need somebody to put the 52 out onto the track. You've got a ride at Watkins Glen. What say after the Watkins Glen race, you take over our truck for the rest of the year? Again, Stuart Friesen's got that injury, compound to the pelvis, and of course the right leg fracture. Had surgery successful. Doesn't mean that he's getting up and walking around and dancing a jig, and certainly not ready to get into a truck. So they needed a driver who could go and put their sponsorships out on the truck, out on the track, and potentially do very well. Caden Honeycutt has found himself in a really nice landing position.
He fell up the stairs.
No doubt, in my mind.
He fell up the stairs, and read very, very carefully in between the lines there of which truck he's driving for the remainder of the year after Watkins Glen, in which manufacturer said truck is.
Yeah.
Read
correct me if I'm wrong. Nice Motorsports drives Chevrolet Silverados. That's what we already figured out. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hallmark Friesen Racing. 52 is a Chevrolet.
52 is a Toyota.
Oh, see, I am wrong. My apologies on that.
It wasn't at Toyota Tundra.
Wasn't at one time. Maybe I guess that might be the better way to put this, because I have it in my head. It was a Chevrolet. Okay. So I'm remembering years back. My apologies. All right. See, and this is where speculation kind of does run rampant, though, when you stop and think about it. because immediately when the move was made, let's go back and think about the previous couple of statements that we showed you just a couple of moments ago, in the fact that, okay, he's out, he's going to a different manufacturer, blah, 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 right? Everybody immediately started to go, okay, where is he going to go? And we all know, because we said it right here on this podcast and on the big show on Saturdays, that Ram is coming back in, and they're going to start back in to NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series beginning next year. Immediately, everybody started linking Caden Honeycutt to Ram trucks and whatever team they were going to be signing up with. Apparently not.
Take this for what it's worth from the patterns that I've been seeing and been being told from personal friends I have in the Carolinas.
Okay.
With this being the platform we're on right here with the podcast, I will throw this out there.
Okay.
And we're going to see if it sticks. There's a pattern you see here, because last week the colleague 11 car had a Spire driver. This week, Spire driver. Daytona, Spire driver. See a pattern here?
Noticing one.
There is, it's out there. Nothing is said, set, and done yet. But it is out there that Spire is getting out of Truck Series, and Spire is going to acquire the assets of colleagues' Xfinity team, go up into Xfinity, and then going to have a Truck Series team under the Ram brand.
Okay. Wouldn't necessarily be the worst move on the planet.
That's out there. That's what I've understood. Let's see if it happens.
Yeah, should be interesting to see. We'll keep you updated on it, of course. We wish nothing but the best to Caden Honeycutt as he pursues what could end up being, from Monday a nightmare, or Sunday into Monday a nightmare of losing your ride at maybe one of the worst possible times, to becoming what could be a very big time dream season. Stuart Friesen has put that truck up at near the front. He has won races in the past. We know that Hallmark Friesen Racing is a small little kind of mom and pop organization, but they punch above their weight. So they know how to build a really good truck. He is in a really good position. This could turn out to be a dream amongst all dreams. And wouldn't it just be a fascinating story to watch Caden Honeycutt walk away with the Craftsman Truck Series title this year? And wouldn't East Motorsports go as they should?
Yep, and Toyota going to be smiling.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're going to do a follow-up on the Major League Baseball Classic. It got delayed from Saturday into Sunday. We'll talk about it on the big show on Sunday. We're also going to talk Formula One, and we've got a little bit more about what's going on as things continue to kind of come out and we learn more about this Caden Honeycutt move. That and so much more coming up on the big show this Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time. Check us out on CRN Live on YouTube. Don't forget to comment down below. We always love to read those comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we do ask that you please subscribe, whether it's to right here at CRN Live or right here on Jock's YouTube TV. Both of them. We appreciate the subscriptions. Thanks out to Molly Robinson on the Jock side, producer John on the CRN Live side, that guy right there that you see in the picture next to me. That way. Yeah, there we go. I'm mirrored. That's Matt Nicholson. I'm Steve West. We appreciate you checking out this edition of Crossed Flags.
You've been listening to Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. For more content like this, subscribe to CRN Live on YouTube, and you'll be set to catch the 2-hour live show every Saturday morning at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.